Vroom, vroom, beep, beep, whoop, whoop. License and registration, please. You don't have them? Go to the DMV and renew them. Hi.
Oh my God.
Welcome to HowDoWeHuman. It's the podcast where we overanalyze all the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I am one of your hosts, and my name is Evan Cox.
ACAB, and I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binnick.
Today we're going to that DMV. We're gonna stand in line. We're gonna stand in line to sit in line. But before we get there, I would love to know from my old co-host Chris.
Yes.
Never mind. I want to hear from my 30-somethings co-host Chris.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I didn't know I had that power.
I think it was last week. I think it was off mic though. You and I were talking about how I wanted to start exercising more. Perhaps we both wanted to start exercising more. And I don't want to spend money on a gym membership because I know that's the type of thing that I'll go to like twice.
Same.
And then never go again, regardless of how
twice,
good it makes me feel.
That's another gym episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. We do have to go together.
We gotta do this.
Like,
Gym
we
part 3.
do up, dingity ding da ding, whatever those lyrics are. Anyway, we
no idea what you're talking about.
We go together. And then they do a bunch of nonsense.
Okay.
It's the Grease song.
Oh, we go together.
Yeah.
I mean, the sound you made was ding-a-ding-a-ding.
I didn't remember all the syllables. I remembered the syllables, just not the sounds, I guess. I remembered how many there were, but not what they were.
We go together. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. All right. I'm done.
Was that a mashup of Grease and What Does the Fox Say?
Yes, let's do it. Let's get famous.
What does Sandy say? Anyway, I'm so desperate to talk about my lack of exercise, Evan.
Right.
Because I mentioned that something I had done at one point was like, you take a deck of cards and you assign a workout to each suit. So all the clubs are push-ups or all the hearts are crunches or whatever. And you were like, hey, I'm a big tech guy. And I know there's gots to be an app for that.
Oh, yeah.
You and I looked at different workout apps and we decided, hey, this one is free and the little icon is a dog lifting weights. This could not get any better.
That's the dream.
We downloaded it and then I believe we have both come to this realization, but and there are many other apps like it because I downloaded a couple others.
But this app is mine.
Where you download it because it's free. Then you get in there and it's like, oh, do this to start your workout or enter your weight so that we can track your progress or whatever. Some different question or like, what kind of equipment do you have in your home so that we can tailor your workouts? And so you answer some of those questions and then it's like, get ready to enter that credit card, baby. This shit isn't free. Our app is free, but to use it, you have to pay. What the hell is this?
I hate it. It's everything now. And it's like, I downloaded it and I signed up for it. Not paying money, but like you could sign up for a trial.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. But I haven't used it. And I'm probably not going to. And if it were free, I probably would have started using it. Because it just feels pointless. Like, let me do this. Because I know for a fact there's nothing they're going to offer me that's going to be worth paying what they want me to pay. So I'm not going to pay for it. It's not
Yeah.
worth even doing the trial.
I can't
Now I'm
remember because I tried a couple
a
different
mess.
ones, but was the one that we both downloaded, was that the one where it was like choose your instructor's voice or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah,
And
I don't need the instructor's voice. Just like I
I
don't need it tailored to me that
I
way.
mean, I did specifically go through and try to find a sexy lady voice, and
Yeah,
I
I did
found
too.
one. But then the on-screen person, the next question, which I don't know what the fuck that was going to be for, but it's like, what video person do you want? One was Alexa, the other, Evan.
Oh, interesting.
Was it me?
I don't know because we couldn't see who they were, which
What,
was
what if you?
another
I know that was
problem.
the weird part. They didn't show a picture or anything.
Yeah.
But what
It
if
was like, who do you want to see?
you signed up
Name
for it
or name?
and it actually was me, and this was just my app? This was my way of getting you to download my app and pay me money.
Well, it would have been interesting. Was Alexa you in a wig?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah. All right. Maybe I'll go re-download it.
Yeah, everyone wants it. You can't have it.
Evan, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. I forgot to mention up top because this is very important. We gotta remind the folks, and I
Yes.
fucked it up before. We're full video now, unless
Full video,
we've put
unless
one.
it doesn't work.
Unless it doesn't work, we put one video out. It worked. I'll try to put this video out too. By the time this comes out, we should have, I think, 2 other videos out, maybe 1. But check it out. I gave the wrong URL one time. The handle for our YouTube is HowDoWeHuman. But check this out. Have you seen
Whoa.
how YouTube URLs work now with handles?
No.
It's so bad. So it's youtube.com/@ HowDoWeHuman.
Like the
You need
symbol?
that ampersand in there.
Oh no, you're not supposed to give away the wrong URL again, Evan.
Damn it. The @ sign. You put an @
Okay.
sign in a URL. This is a fucking nightmare. Why? Why they do this?
But to clarify, it's youtube.com/@ HowDoWeHuman.
Correct.
And that will bring up our channel. And you
That'll
can
take you right
see
to our
at
channel.
least one full video of an episode. Hopefully
Yes.
more.
Hopefully 2, maybe 3. Anyways, how I'm doing pretty good. Similar, not similar, but related to your story, where I'm like, we gotta get working out. I was working with a coworker recently, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta start working out because summer's coming up." And I'm like, "Man, what a different lifestyle! I've never, I've never considered like, well, summer's coming up. I better get in shape."
You're not
Am I doing life wrong?
focusing on your beach bod?
I'm not focusing on my
brother?
beach bod, but at the same time, I am. It's just the same bod on the beach, and I don't like it. So maybe I should be working out. Anyways, when we did our mall day, and we did that episode about the mall day, I was talking about layering and how I'm like,
Yes.
all right, I got a little heft around the middle at this point. I'm wearing layers, darker colors up top. Try to hide that, make me look a little slimmer. Why?
A lot around the
Fucking
middle,
know.
not much back, right?
Not much back, a little bit of back.
A little bit of back.
A lot around the middle, a little bit of back. Speaking of another coworker, I went on a work thing, a work shoot. And this is a coworker that I see maybe once every 2 weeks or so. I'm layered. I'm walking up, immediately says to me, "Have you lost weight? You're looking thin."
Wow.
I want to bring us back to the day I decided to stop slouching and force my posture up, and I immediately got compliments from strangers in a car.
Yeah.
I get immediate results. I gotta do
You do.
good things for myself more often. People notice. So I don't know. That was shocking to me to have someone first time seeing me wearing clothes that way immediately assume I lost weight. I'm like, no, I'm probably the heaviest I've ever been. But thank you. That's the trick I was going for. That's about it. So I'm doing good.
Yeah, who needs a workout app? You've got deceit.
I have more clothes. Wear more clothes than I used to. That is the trick. But that, to be fair, is how I was doing like a week ago when that happened. Yesterday,
something happened recently, did it not?
I had to spend pretty much an entire day bouncing around DMVs. And it's not over. So that's
you had to go to multiple DMVs?
Strap in!
Okay, buckle up.
For this test drive. Not test drive. That's not what you do at a DMV. You
I'm here
want to
to
try
test
out
drive.
some of these cars?
Yeah, I want to know what it's like to drive in the passenger seat. I'd like to take one of your cars for a spin.
Drive test. It's literally just switch the words around.
That's so true.
Drive test. Has anyone ever thought about that?
I don't know. Should we talk about it for an hour?
Next week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, good.
It'll be titled, has anyone ever thought that if you just flip around drive test and test drive, they mean very different things?
That's the full title.
Episode 219. Yeah. I don't know where to start except to say my registration was expiring. We all been there?
Oh, yeah.
It's more in California. I don't know why that is. Probably state tax related shit. But for my car right now, it's a little over $200 a year to keep this baby registered in the state of California. And you get That's the word I'm looking for. A nice thing I'll say to the DMV. And I did find a few nice things at the DMV. Don't get me wrong. It's not all bad news. But they do give you that notice quite a bit early, which I think is lovely.
Sure.
They'll give it to you like 2 months in advance. And that, because when you get it last minute, you're like, oh, fuck, I forgot about this. Now I need to have an extra $200, which I don't always have an extra $200. When it's a couple months early, I can go, oh, great. I can plan for when it's good for me to pay this $200. And you know when it was good for me to pay?
It hasn't been.
Technically, correct. But in my mind, it was perfect for me to pay 1 day before my registration expired.
Oh, sure.
It's kind of coincidence. That is just how it worked out. But I knew I'm playing with fire, baby. We're going right to the edge. I don't think I've ever pushed it to the edge this far. I'm getting worried, like, is this going to be a problem if I, don't get my sticker in time? Am I going to get pulled over a bunch? Oh, man. So, I did that special little thing I love doing. I went online to deal with bullshit I don't want to deal with in person. You can go online to dmv.ca.com. That's how I pronounce California. Or it's ca.dmv.com. I don't remember which one it is. Probably that one.
Cool.
Thanks. I click on the renew registration tab. I'm in there now. Like Johnny Mnemonic. I'm in the waves. The internet waves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surfing the internet.
Right? Surfing the web.
Type in my license plate number. Type in the last 4 of my VIN. It pulls up what I owe. Let's do it, baby. I click on that. Let's go. On the DMV website, it tells you the amount you owe, and there's a button that says, let's go, baby. I click on that button, put in a card number or your bank information. Now, here's where we run into trouble.
Okay.
Your old pal, Evan, I've mentioned this
Yeah.
before, bad at math, bad with numbers in general, but I've always had a very good memory for long strings of numbers I need to remember.
I don't love where this is going.
I've got my debit card number memorized. I've got my social memorized. I've got my license plate memorized. Easy peasy. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I used to have my library cards memorized just because it was more convenient to type that in online. I know pi to the 10th digit.
Well, you've often said you're a little pie boy, but
I am pie boy. Speaking of which, oh man, this is later in the story. I'll talk about pie. You ever been to Jollibee before?
no.
Jesus, that is like the best fast food restaurant I've ever been to, and they had a peach mango pie that was maybe the best thing I've ever tasted. But we'll get there. That is a part of the story.
I can't imagine how, but go ahead.
It was all part of the same day. I clicked the button that said, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't have my wallet on me. My wallet was in the bedroom.
And just to clarify, where were you?
Not in the bedroom. I was in this room. My kitchen/computer room.
Yeah.
Okay. And I recently got
just how far is the bedroom from this room?
I'd say 4 feet.
Okay.
Probably more than that. I'm going to say 5. I'm going to bump it up. I played a video now.
For those of you on audio only, Evan turned to his camera, stared directly into it, and held up the number 5.
It was
and this again is someone who works in podcasting and decided to just bring it all to a halt for a visual only moment.
It's fun. I'm having fun. It was far enough. I recently had to get a new debit card. I do not have that number memorized yet. So my options: walk 5 feet to the bedroom?
Yes, the obvious selection. or guess.
Or guess. No. Type in my bank info, which I know. I know it so well I want to say it right now, but that's a bad idea. So I'm not going to do that.
I want to describe to audio listeners what that visual moment was, but even I don't really know.
I was like mouthing what it is. Just to prove.
Yeah, he was mouthing what it was, but it looked a lot like he was just kind of playing with his beard for a moment, or like doing a Dr. Zoidberg impression.
I needed my routing info. I needed my bank account info.
Yes.
Okay. Don't you get testy with me. You told me you don't have a lot of stories about the DMV.
It's true.
You gave me too much rope. I'm here to hang myself. I know my bank info. I know my routing number. Easy peasy. Do it. And this was also in the middle of me paying all my other bills, which those I already have the info in there. So I'm just click, 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 click. This was right in the middle of that. Oh, right. I got to do that. $200. I don't want to go to the bedroom. I know my bank info. Let's go, baby. Tap a tap a type. A tap a tap a type. Enter. Hit that let's go, baby button. And everything's fine. It says thank you. You've paid. You'll get your stickers soon. Have a life. I do have a life. I go about the rest of my day. I go to bed. I wake up. One of those things like sometimes dreams solve your problems or just think things through for you. I immediately woke up and realized I 100% typed in my social security number into the bank info field. 100%. I was in free floating motion. Just ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da. That is not going to work. It might
Correct.
work in the sense of someone stealing my identity. That might happen. But it will not take $200 some out of my bank account. Now we're in it. Have you been in these situations where you have that crushing realization of fuck, I actually have to go into the DMV now?
I feel like what happens more is that like I have that crushing realization that I've done something wrong, and then I go back to double check or whatever, and I find out that no, I did it right the first time. It was just like
Wow.
my brain creating drama for no reason. But I also like I like well, I just it baffles me, Evan,
Yeah.
that you continue to let your free thinking mind lead you in these decisions, and it
Yeah.
like backfires 70% of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not good. Okay,
That's
so
just
now
not good odds.
here's the thing. This is our podcast. These are the stories I'm going to tell. Now I'm going to keep an eye out for my
Yeah.
free thinking fun. And I'm going to bring stories of the ways that works out for me. Because I will say, as much as I want to complain about having gone to the DMV all day, there is a level of like, well, I wasn't doing anything else with my day. It's kind of nice to get out of the apartment. Saw some people. Talked to
Yeah.
some real jerks.
Yeah. What a great experience.
It was something outside of the ordinary.
I mean, I'm the type of person who, like, even if I know something, I like double check it. Like, we have my fiance and I have this like um frozen salmon like meal like at least once a week.
This is a deep
This
metaphor.
the citrus herb rubbed salmon, right?
Okay. Can't go wrong
And
with that.
I know that it's we set the oven to 400 degrees and we cook it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But every single week when we make that salmon, I check the back of that package because I'm like, what do I set it to? What do I set the timer for?
I'll do that. I'll do that with like a frozen pizza or something. Like, I'm lying to myself if I say I haven't had a DiGiorno's pizza like 2,000 times in my life.
Yeah.
I know how long and at what temperature to cook it, but I will double, quadruple check every time. This was just it felt
This was just
so
your
right.
bank information.
It was just my
So,
bank
who
information.
cares?
It was just my car registration.
It's not a frozen
not
pizza.
I don't get a pizza out of it where I need to really fucking focus. What do I care? This is me. I'm not in a rush to pay the man. I'm taking my time. Okay, we're gonna continue on this. You're gonna love this story.
We still got to figure out how he gets to eat that pie.
I called the DMV. Here's another. My shocking thing I have to report, just in general, is I'm noticing the DMV is really trying, which is new. The DMV is trying to make it a better experience. That's wild. I never thought those are words I would say in my life.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing it. Even when I was in the waiting area, there was an ad that was saying that exactly. Maybe that's how it got in my head. We're trying to make things better. Not just saying like we're trying to get more current. It doesn't necessarily make sense to have people like have to do what you're doing right now and then talk to someone that hates their job. Like,
do you think they hired the same agency that did the like Domino's apology ads like
Yeah.
10 years ago?
We know. But it
We
was
know
exactly the
the
same.
DMV sucks.
We know the DMV's pizza is bad. Everyone's like, huh?
What?
There's pizza? I'd be quicker to go to the DMV if they had pizza. But no, they're like hiring IT people and tech people to try to get stuff together. But one of the little things that was new to me was instead of making you, because when you have to call the DMV, it's the same as going into the DMV. You've got to like stand in line for an hour, and they've changed it now, so you get a call back in one of those little systems where you go like, if you're cool with it, you can sit here if you want, or we'll call you back in 20 minutes. So fuck yeah, you get an extra little text. It's like, don't forget, we're gonna call you in 20 minutes. Did they? No, they called me an hour later. But still, much appreciated. And on the other end of that phone was the nicest person I've ever spoken to in my life, the most helpful person imaginable. I was like, I'm now thinking I didn't even fuck up. This was kismet. This was supposed to happen. I was supposed to meet this very nice person, so that my faith in the DMV could be restored. You know what I mean?
Mm. Okay,
Mm.
yeah.
It's like Looper with the DMV. How? I don't know.
It's like Looper,
Don't think about it
but
too
at the
hard.
DMV.
Just think about it a little bit, and it feels good.
No. I
It's
mean,
like
what you said
current me.
before you said it's like Looper, but at the DMV, where it was just like, oh, I met this person to restore my faith in how nice it is. That part's
Yeah.
nice.
Isn't
And
that
then
what
you
Looper's
added,
about?
it's like Looper, the time travel, like murder movie,
Yeah, kill
but at the
yourself
DMV.
at the DMV. This makes sense. This checks
No.
out. Yeah, I think so. I think you need to rewatch Looper and see how much it's like talking to a nice person at the DMV. So she hyper willing to help. It was very funny because I had to say like I had to explain myself. This was the worst part. I hate having to explain myself. I'm doing it now, and it's funny because I'm just doing it to you, and we can laugh about it. But when you have to talk to like a professional person and be like, no, I've fucked up worse than you can possibly imagine. Because she was trying to give me the benefit of the doubt, oh, well, did you maybe like double check it because possibly you just put in your I've done this before where you've got your bank account info, but then there's also this other bank number, and if you put that number in or like a debit card number, that might just work. And it's like, no.
No, I didn't do that.
No, ma'am, I put my social security number in. And she goes, oh, okay. So she's like typing up notes because she has to type up what she's going to tell her superiors. And the way, and she's going like,
This fucking guy.
she's reading it out loud. And she goes, the client zoned out. Just like trying to come up with the nicest way to word what happened. It's like, I'll take it. I did
Much
zone
like the
out.
Ryan Johnson feature film Looper, this guy fucked up.
Much like Ryan Gosling's Looper. This guy
Doesn't exist.
needs a pizza.
So sorry, before we get too much further, when you paid, it didn't you do when you got the like confirmation email. I'm assuming you got one.
Hell
Um
no.
okay, never mind then.
This is the
Cuz I was
problem.
yeah, there's no way to 100% confirm other than your gut feeling and
Yeah.
memory that you typed in the wrong number.
I know 100% I typed in the wrong number because
Okay.
I typed. We're gonna dig it deeper and deeper, and you're just gonna be like, "Why the fuck didn't you?" And there's no answer. I just didn't. But like when I was typing it in, I had the thought. I'm not gonna say. I will say a fake number. Say it was 14, and
Yeah, okay.
that's because I will tell you right now. If you're trying to steal my identity, 14 is not in my routing number or my bank account number. Does that help them steal my identity? a little bit,
A
0.5%.
tiny bit.
It saves a little time. But say it did. Type on my routing number, which I got correct. 14 is in the middle of there somewhere. And then I typed my bank account number, and it also had a 14 in it. And I had the thought, like, I don't remember 14 being in both those numbers.
Oh my
Let's
God.
go, baby! Click. And that was what I remembered the following morning. Like, just from sleep, like Home Alone, waking up going, Kevin. It's not! 14's not in both numbers. Fuck. But the problem is, you got an account, but when you're going to pay your registration, there's no reason to log into that account. They don't ask you to log into an account. Even if you do log into an account, it takes you to an area outside of your account. Because the DMV really, we'll get there in a sec, they really differentiate between license and registration. Unlike the police, who want both at the same time. The DMV, you got to keep them separated. So you just go in there and they want your license plate number, part of your VIN number, or the number that comes on the sheet of paper for your renewal. And so you just type that in. It's not connected to an email address at all. You don't get an email. It just lives in DMV land. This is where everything started to get fucked. And I hated it because I had no way to go in. It accepted it. You're like, what other fucking website could I put my social security number in for bank account info? And it goes, that worked. Congrats. It just 100% told me you did it. And long story short, at the end of the day, like I was told, like, nah, you did it.
Yeah.
It's not going to go through. They're like, oh, we know that it's not going to go through. And we know it's not going to go through. But you're going to have to wait. So, long story short, DMV,
unlike Bruce Willis through the passage of time,
I was trying
not going to go through.
I was trying to put together. So I mentioned pizza, but then I realized I was thinking of Ryan Reynolds. I said Ryan Gosling, but Ryan Reynolds was in Two Girls, a Guy, in a Pizza Place. Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza Place. Two girls, three guys, three men, one baby,
And a baby.
and a pizza place, and a little lady. Three men and a baby and a pizza place and a little lady. Forget it. Scratch this. It's not going anywhere. This story is too long. Now I have to go in because she suggested, like, chances are, sir, you're fucked. To planes, trains, and automobiles. That's what she says to Steve Martin. You're fucked. But you can go in to a DMV office and try. And maybe if you find the right person, and she's being honest, this is why she's the nicest. If you find the right person at the DMV that's willing to help you, you will be able to just pay that now. Because basically what she's saying is it takes 2 weeks or 2 months. It's going to be 2 months before the DMV realizes this didn't work.
Got it. Okay.
That's how long it's going to take for them to realize that's not a bank account number. Again, not even the same amount of digits. Like, nothing about this should have gone through. This shouldn't. I take blame for what I did, but I want them to take blame for what they did. This should not have been acceptable in any capacity. I'm being told they're going to treat it like it paid. I will in 2 months. I will right now get stickers, tabs to put on my car. And then 2 months from now, they'll axe it and say, nuh-uh, didn't go through. Now your registration's garbage, and you have to pay an extra fee on top of it. So she's saying, go to a DMV office. If you find the right person, you might be able to just pay that 200 some now. And then when that notice comes around, go back to the DMV, tell them, show them you already paid for it. You won't have to pay that extra fee, which will accumulate to like an extra $60-$70, which I don't want to pay.
No.
So I'm like, all right, we're going to the DMV. I've been to a few different DMV locations around me. So I just looked it up on Google Maps. DMV, Hollywood. Great. Drove there. Not a DMV at all. Google Maps. You fucked me. It's just
Are
some
you sure
auto
you
shop.
typed in DMV or did you type in your social security number
Ah,
into Google
yes, and
Maps?
that took me there. My social security number is just an auto shop in Hollywood. um, so I looked it up again, found a different one. So now, going to the actual DMV. I park. This is one I'd been to before. I go in, no line, like nothing. Easy fucking peasy. I'm pleased as punch. Across the board, lines easy as fuck this entire trip. But there was a little bit of a line because it's DMV. When I say no line, I mean it in DMV terms, meaning it's going to be 10
Sure.
minutes versus the usual, which is like, you'll probably stand in line for 40, 45 minutes before. That's you got to wait in line to tell them what you're doing. Then they give you a number, and then you have to sit down for another hour until they call your number. That's the fucking worst. So I'm standing in line. I'm going to tell you, if you think I've been irrational so far, get ready for this. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm still mad. Another thing the DMV is doing to help speed things along, and maybe this is why the line was going so fast, is they go through, they have, it's almost like In and Out, where, you go to the drive through. It's kind of like Looper.
Yeah, okay.
You go to In and Out, and for people who aren't in the In and Out areas, I'm sure other drive-throughs do this. You go to the drive-through, you're trying to get to the window, but there's also a person with a little kiosk, well, not kiosk, but a tablet coming up
Yeah.
and being like, "What are you going to get?" So they can speed things along. At the DMV, they've got someone going through asking, "What are you here for?" so that they can tell you you're in the wrong place if you're in the wrong place.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
the
okay.
amount of people getting kicked out of line being told they're in the wrong place was shocking to me. Like, how could I? It's the DMV. This is where I. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm trying to go.
Did you overhear what some of these other people were there for and were getting kicked out for?
I did not, but I know what I got
Tragic.
kicked out for. So I'm standing here going like, look at these fucking idiots. They went to the wrong place. Where are you trying to go? Disney World? That's in Florida. You went to the DMV, you idiot. She gets to me, asks, "Why are you here?" And I'm like, "Lady, this is too much to
Lady,
explain."
how much time you
How
got?
much? That's
Toots?
borderline the vibe I was giving off is how much time you got. I wasn't calling anyone lady or toots, but she was like, "What are you here for?" I'm like, "It's related to a registration renewal," and she without saying anything, just waves her arm to follow her. I'm like, she's gonna take me to a kiosk because now they want you to go to the kiosk and use that to do your registration. So I'm like, no, it's kind of a long story. I was trying to do the, and then I typed in the wrong number. Trying to sound like I'm smart and know what I'm talking about while saying like I am an idiot. Uh,
Yeah.
and she continues walking, doesn't respond to me at all, just waves me on, points to an address on the wall, says, "You gotta go there. We don't do registrations here." I was like, fuck. They've got separate offices. I didn't even know this. There are DMV registration offices.
So what was
Huh?
so the one that you went to, what did they do?
They're the DMV.
They
They do
okay.
everything else. They do
They
your
do literally
licenses,
everything
literally
except
everything
registration?
except registrations. That's
Okay.
its own place. Fortunately, that was only like 10 minutes away. But still, I'm like, has this always been a thing? I don't remember this ever coming up.
Yeah.
But again, maybe this is why all the lines were chill. You add in the kiosks, you add in the person kicking people out of line, you add in two different offices. Maybe the DMV's cooler now. But I will say, her doing her absolute job, just telling me, "You fucked up. You're in the wrong place." She didn't even say it like that. She just said, "This is the address you're wanting to go to. We don't do registrations here." I was livid. And I couldn't explain to myself why. I'm walking out of there, kind of like mumbling to myself, like, fucking asshole. The whole time I'm thinking, like, no. She's right. You did go to the wrong
Yeah.
place. But there's nothing like someone telling you that you fucked up at the DMV. That's just like, I'm supposed to be mad now, right? Because I was pissed. To now go to my third location. I go to the registration office. I wait in that line. That's a super quick line. Everything's going great. I meet a person at the front. It's her, not the person on the phone, the person the phone prophesied. Someone very nice who wanted to help. She was willing to help.
Whoa.
I was like, this is happening. It's happening. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get to pay $200 to the state. Joy. She's willing to help. She's telling me, like, it's not likely. This is hard. Let me talk to my superior. We'll try to figure this out. Her superior's like, yeah, we can do that. Right now, though, what's coming up, which I didn't even see on my registration notice, what's coming up right now is that we can't do anything because you're due for a smog check. Fuck. Apparently that's every 5 years. And my car needed it just that day, ASAP. We can't get anything done. So basically the superior told me, you've got to go do that first. And then come back here and we'll help you. And you can pay that $200.
This is like one of those super annoying, like, video game side quests.
Side quest where it's like,
find this person. You find them and they're like, I can't do anything. You got to do this over here.
But you probably should go talk to that villager over there. Help them build a house. So I go to a smog check place. I get that taken care of. Done. $80, which that sucks.
Yeah.
I looked
now
at the
you
wall.
Only have 120 to get the stage.
I'm mad. I looked at the wall way after I'd already paid, and it said that smog checks are $60, and then it's an extra 10 for cars that need the star certified ones. Mine didn't come up as a star certified one, and even then, that would only be $70. What the fuck just happened? I got robbed, but it was $20. And I'm having a bad day, so fuck it. Like, I already got my receipt, and I'm not gonna throw a scene here. I lost $20. Fuck it. I go back to that DMV registration office, not the DMV. I go to the registration office. First off, getting back in line. All right. There's me. There's another guy coming from, like, the area where everyone's sitting. We're both going towards the line. I go up the lane where everyone is lined up, get in the back of the line. This guy, for whatever reason, goes the long way. Technically, he was there before I was there, but he chose to go the long way, so I was in line first. And this guy, confidently, just walks past me and stands in front of me. I don't know his story. I can't
respect it.
I mean, I had to. I had no choice but to respect it. I had no idea what was going. Maybe he was there in line already, went to do something and came back, or just felt like he was in that area before I was, so he should go. But already I'm like, you know what? I'm near the end of my trip. I finished the side quest, and there's only 4 or 5 people in line. So fuck it. You can be an extra person in front of me. But when that guy got to the front of the line, there are 2 lines. This is a long, stupid story, but that's how the DMV works. There are 2 lines, one for people with appointments, one for people without appointments. We're both in the non-appointment line. Another guy comes in, gets in the appointment line, and the guy looks at him and goes, "Hey, line!" I didn't say anything, but I'm like, man, are you fucking kidding me? I wanted to just, tell him, like, It's two separate lines. You don't have an appointment. He does. You fucking idiot. Oh! To get cut in front of in line and then have someone else just do something totally normal and go, hey, line! There's a line! It's like, dumbass. I get through everything, and then I realize the genuine problem here. There's no way to just go to the person who is willing to help me.
Oh, that's
you
true.
can't assign yourself to a window. There are 20 windows, and you're just going to get assigned one of them. And so I'm sitting here, and Windows 7, helpful person, blasting through people because she's fucking helpful and friendly. Blasting through. 6 other people went to Windows 7. I'm starting to get fucking nervous because I'm like, it could happen. They're going so quick. Anytime now, they might call my number and tell me to go to Windows 7. And they were like, oh, you think Windows 7's good? We're going to double it up. Windows 14, bitch.
Yeah, because you typed 2 14s into your information.
That's true. Maybe that's where 14 came from. So now I've got a new person I get to explain my story to one more time. It's fun having a day when you make a big fuck up like that, having to tell the story like 6 different times to different people, and all of them have that look on that face like, wow, you really fucked up.
Oh, man.
And this person absolutely not remotely willing to help me. It's about anything I said, like the definition of a DMV employee. Just like, no. What do you mean? Like, well, you got your smog. She just like handed me my sticker, which is like, nice. I got my tab. But I'm like, but we both know like the payment's not going to go through. She's like, yep. But right now, it did. So this is all we can do. Here's your stickers. I'm like, but I'd like, I started leaning on the desk like, I'm just seeing if there's something we can do. Like, I was talking to her over there, and she said like we could maybe set it up so that I could pay now, so that when it does come back, I'm not charged the extra. She's like, no. Just like there's no talking with this person. It's like she's on to the next person. Like, no, you're done. I gave you your stickers. That's all you can do. I'm like, okay. So in like a couple months, I have to come back here and pay like $70 on top of the 200. It's like, yeah, okay,
thanks.
For a day full of is otherwise just me fucking up. The DMV was crushing it all fucking day, and then I just got hit with what the DMV has always fucking been: just bureaucratic bullshit, employees that hate their jobs. I'm like, this is why people hate the DMV.
Yeah,
I lucked out.
Well,
I found 2 people who
that
really wanted to help.
They'll probably get some sort of good marks for getting the state another $70 on top.
They'll get good marks for that. Good marks for getting the idiot out of the office. Fucked up. It's mind-boggling to me that there's nothing that can be done about this. Like, that's unacceptable to me. And fortunately, the nice lady on the phone gave me the case number. She wrote all those notes in there. So that's my only other chance, is to call back and give them that. They'll have all the info. There'll be proof that before the due date passed, I was trying to get all this taken care of. And we'll see what happens. But for right now, I've got a registration and I've got tabs. And in 2 months, the government's going to take those from me. And I'm back to work.
Well, that's unfortunate stuff.
It is.
That's too bad.
I fucked up.
Yeah, I mean it is like, it's one of those things where like, you really dug your own grave.
Yeah.
And then the DMV like started shoveling the dirt back on top of you. So like, it could have just been, this is a nice,
I feel like everyone else,
like a hole that's going to be tough to get out of, but now it's really hard to get out
everyone
of.
else were the mourners, just like throwing dirt and flowers onto me. And the last lady was the fucking tractor.
Yeah.
Dumping landfill, sure.
Dumping landfill.
Dumping landfill, baby.
That's my new spin-off podcast, by the way.
I like
Dumping
that.
landfill.
I know we didn't talk ahead of time. We will take some sort of a quiz, but
We will.
I took this entire episode up to tell my stupid story. You said you don't even remember the last time you went to the DMV.
Yeah, I'm
How'd
not
that
sure
go?
the last time. I mean, maybe the last time. I guess I was briefly in there when I got my new car.
That makes sense.
But that was like
But you, and
7 years ago.
not to blow up your spot. If I'm throwing myself up to identity theft, but we've talked about this before. You've still got Arizona plates.
I do.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have those
Um,
anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is what you have to continue avoiding. I had to retake a test. A
Yeah.
full like drive test scenario. I had to take a drive test.
Oh, you had
and
to
a
get
written
behind the
test.
wheel
I had to get
too?
behind the wheel. Yeah.
Oh, I thought most people that I know just had to take the written test again.
Well, I did the written test and I just answered every question with my social security number. And they're like,
Yeah, so they're like,
you.
let's get this guy behind the wheel.
I know who I am. No, I forget. Oh, it was because Washington was chill as fuck because that's where I did my driver's ed and everything and the drive test, etc. Washington was aware of and cool with the fact that I'm legally blind in my left eye. California was shocked by this information. They're like,
okay.
you shouldn't be behind the wheel. I've been driving for a long time. I'm fine. Trust me. So I had to take that. I think that's why I ended up having to take a drive test. So they're like, we're really going to need you to prove it to us that you can do this.
Okay.
And I can. So you wouldn't have to worry about that probably. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That never bothered
It's
you?
interesting that you
never
bring
wanted
up
that California plate.
It's interesting that you bring up having to take the written test at the DMV because I thought that's what we should do for our quiz. And then I got nervous because I was like, what if we both fail this test on the mic?
Because isn't there
so instead,
but like,
we're just going to take a simple how socially awkward are you test.
Not even related to driving.
No.
But like there is something about that, like when I knew I had to take a written test, drive test, I'm like, I can handle that. I'm a good driver and I'll drive better with someone there.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like when I was a teenager and sweating. Like, oh, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I'm fine. I can do a drive test. The written test, though, that's scary as shit. Because you drive I've been driving since I was 15. That's over 15 years. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Time. That's 19 years. Jesus Christ.
That
that's
and like
fucked up. But like you don't think
I think
about,
we both consider ourselves good drivers.
absolutely. But we're not thinking about how many cars ahead of me should this car be? What distance do you start slowing down before a stop sign? Shit like that. It's like, I don't fucking know. It's instinct, baby.
Right. Yeah, it is instinct. And I also like I've gotten so many like recommended reels on Instagram of like car accidents that could have easily been avoided if somebody wasn't being a shitty driver.
Yeah.
But you go into the comments and there's so many comments defending whatever shitty driver behavior there was.
100%.
And it's like, well, did the rules change, or is it just one of those things where like an idiot can type something and a genius can type something and they look the same because they're the same font on the same website and you just have to decide which one's right?
I mean, that's the definition of just all of it. The problem with all social media is everyone's comments look exactly the same. It should be like a different color. It's like, this is a dumb
when it's someone stupid.
This is a dumb person talking. Just so you know. But like, I think there's a level because there was something in between living in Washington and moving here. I don't know if you had any similar things coming from Arizona, where it's like it's not laws, but it's like social laws, I guess, when it comes to driving, that like in Washington people drive a certain way, but in California everyone knows you have to do this. It's not a law. It's just an everyone knows you have to. I don't remember what it was I came across, but there was something related to passing lanes, I want to say, that like
Okay.
all the Californians in it were like vehemently pissed off and like, obviously these fucking idiots are doing this and this and this, and I'm like, I do that all the time. Like that's normal. That's I wish I could
Yeah.
remember the exact example, but I feel like there's probably a case of that, of a lot of like not interstate but interstate like
Yeah.
social driving constructs that people move, and then people are very upset because yeah, anytime there's a traffic accident, 100% on the comments you'll see people a video of a traffic accident, not just a traffic
Yeah.
accident where there's comments underneath it, but
Yeah.
you will
Yeah.
see people like 100% being like, they were in the wrong. No, they were in the wrong. Like, how can we disagree on this? This
Right.
is how accidents happen, is they disagreed.
Yeah. There was the most recent one that I got recommended was an intersection. Um, I think it was maybe like an intersection and then maybe like a freeway off ramp.
Yeah.
But it was from the dash cam of somebody just going straight. They had a green light. They were going to go through the intersection. And then there's a semi truck. There's one of the. It's a lane that's like not stopped at the light. It's like a one of those yield like turns in to
Yeah.
merge into the road. Um, and the truck starts just like going right through to merge, and so everybody that has the green light has to like brake or swerve around.
Yeah.
um and all the comments are like, well, the truck's in the right because yield doesn't mean stop. Or when you're driving a big truck, it's more important to keep going than to stop. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? All these other cars had a green light to go, and now
Yeah.
they have to stop in the middle of the intersection. What are we doing?
But that's all because like yeah, I know a lot of people who've done trucker stuff, and yet trucks believe a lot of stuff about trucks. Sometimes I'm like, it is one of those things where sometimes I'll hear something and go like, okay, I do see it from your point of view, you know. But like,
Sure.
yeah, green lights and red lights are green lights and red lights. that's, that's how that works. Car stop.
So we're gonna take a quiz. How socially awkward are you?
Very.
Um, this
Did I
is
pass?
from one of those other websites that's given us some interesting quizzes
Yes.
before. I think
My
this was the
favorite. This is a Taylor
um,
Swift.
the Taylor Swift one. Yeah. So this is how socially awkward are we?
The fuck is this
Um,
picture?
I know. There's some different versions of this quiz on this website. But some of them wouldn't load, and others had very horrendously offensive terminology in them. So
Oh, wow.
I had to pivot to this one.
Okay.
So I don't know how satisfying the result of this will be. But of course, the description is: do you get incredibly uncomfortable in social situations? Feel weird when you're out in public and run into someone you might know? Do you live every day under a veil of awkwardness? Then take this quiz to find out exactly how awkward you really are.
I just
And
want
we may
to.
get
Oh.
not awkward at all or slightly awkward
What?
or
Oh, and many
neither
more
of those.
results.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought there were only those two options. I'm afraid, the people just listening to the podcast won't see this, but I'm afraid which of these two men covered in white paint they think is the awkward one, which they think is
Yeah.
the not awkward one.
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, but this is 10 questions so that we can finally determine, we found out which um type of introvert we are, but now we're going to find out how socially awkward we are.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
You're standing in an empty elevator when, at the last minute, a colleague you don't know very well enters the elevator. What do you do? Ride the elevator in complete silence, engage in small talk about the weather, jump off the elevator to avoid even being with them in a small space, or talk about an article you read or a funny video you saw. Normal talk.
That's a tough one. It's a colleague. So in my mind, that means like coworker. But it
Yeah,
could also just be like someone in the apartment building. But I don't have an elevator, so it's a coworker. And my answer would be to say hi and then ride in complete silence. But um, yeah, I realistically, I would do on my own is say hi. Otherwise, I'm just relying on them. If they start small talk, I'm down for small talk. But otherwise, I'm riding in silence.
agreed.
So I think I
Yeah, I'm
have
going
to
in
pick that.
complete silence as well. Even like beyond a high, I think like I would maybe even do less than that. I would maybe just do
You'd say bye.
the no, yeah. No, I would do the nod and the closed mouth kind of like merp kind of deal, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
You know
I
when you
love a
see
good
people and you're
merp.
like,
Well, I do it a lot.
yeah.
That was an I
So I would do that
actively
and then ride in complete silence.
I've actively tried to say hi more often and less.
Yeah, I
I'm a
mean,
big merper.
good for you.
Thank
I
you.
I would like to do that as well, but
We can
I'm
work
not
on
there
it.
yet.
Question number 2. You walk into a crowded restaurant. Just as you're about to sit down, you notice your boss and his wife sitting at a table across the restaurant. You make eye contact and he smiles. What do you do? Leave the restaurant and pretend you never saw him? Politely wave back, then sit down and be sure not to look that way the rest of the night. Wave, and later, as he's leaving the restaurant, say hello and how are you? Or walk up to his table and talk with him and his wife for a minute or two. Hmm.
This is easy. This is a politely wave back, then sit down and be sure to not look that way the rest of the night.
Yeah.
This is just I'm acknowledging that you're there and giving you a friendly gesture and then leaving you be. If you want to talk, I guess you could come over to my table, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it is. It is dependent on the boss, uh,
Sure.
and how well I know them. But yeah, if it's just the big boss and I don't really know them very well, probably the same answer. We might just be the same people through this whole thing.
I know this will be interesting to see if we go 10 for 10
I
on
think
the same answers
we'll see.
and then get different answers.
Taylor Swift.
Someone is waving at you from across the room, so you wave back only to realize a second later they were waving to someone
It's the
behind you.
worst.
What do you do? Yeah, the worst feeling. Laugh it off and keep walking. Smile very awkwardly at them and mumble something like, "Sorry, I thought you were waving to me." Turn and walk the opposite way fast. Or your face turns bright red and you start crying from embarrassment.
I wanted to say laugh it off and keep walking, but I think it's I think it's actually the second one.
I think it is mumble something like, "Sorry, I thought you were waving to me."
Damn it, we're the same. Uh, yeah. Okay, question 4. You're in the checkout line at your hometown grocery store. Your third grade best friend's mother stands in line behind you. You haven't spoken to that friend in at least 5 years. What do you do? I was just going to answer. Let me read the answers. Smile at her, But unless she says something to you, don't say anything to her. Did I read that right? That's a confusing sentence.
Yeah, smile at
Smile at
her, but
her,
unless she says something to
something to
you,
you.
you don't say anything to her.
Yeah, I think comma you is missing.
Yeah.
That's hard to read. Say hello to her, but let the conversation stop there. Look straight ahead and pretend you never saw her. Ask how your old friend is, then tell her how you're doing.
Um, Gosh, I don't love that this is my answer, but I'm gonna say look straight ahead and pretend you never saw her.
uh, uh,
We've talked about it before, but I feel very awkward around other people's parents, and like I
totally.
don't understand it fully, but that's
Yes.
why I'm gonna pretend I never saw her.
Yeah. I would say hello and then let the conversation stop there. I don't want to talk with this
All right,
person,
we
but
finally had different
I
answers.
will acknowledge that we know it is tough to say though your third grade best friend. Well, I mean, I guess shit. Because now I'm thinking, yeah, that is different. Because I was thinking more like high school friends. Third grade best friend. I do have a mother in mind. If I saw that mother, I haven't spoken to that person in over 10 years.
I think the other problem is I also have a mother in mind, and I know that I wouldn't have to worry about this because they would say something first. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
I'm gonna say hello.
I'm sticking with look straight ahead and pretend I never saw her.
Say hello
All
and let
right.
it
Hey,
end
speaking of
there.
the gym,
Fuck
you're at
yeah!
the gym
Get
when your
ripped.
ex walks in with a new
Fuck.
significant other. What do you
Fuck.
do? Turn your back to them and hope they won't see you. Sprint for the locker room before they see you. Wave to them as you are exiting, or say hi as you leave and engage in light small talk.
Similarly, depends on the ex.
Yeah.
I'm on fairly good terms with most of my exes. Not that we like talk all the time or anything, but I think I would say hi as I left and engage in light small talk.
Um,
And I would probably make it
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I guess I'm also on good enough terms with uh with my ex, but I don't like something about the word ex
Yeah.
makes me think I'm like not on good terms with them, like it just has like a
Yeah.
negative like connotation to it.
Absolutely.
Um but because I guess I'm on good terms, I guess I'll also say hi as I leave and engage in light small talk, but also like make it weird for
Yes.
all three of us.
Absolutely. I would say all the wrong things. Question 6. It's your birthday, and you are forced to sit in front of a bunch of friends and relatives as they sing to you. The worst. How do you act? Smile and laugh a lot. Ah! I kind of like that option. Like a conductor pretending I rule them all and singing alone. Stare straight ahead with a straight face.
That's
Look,
hilarious.
look, look down at the cake and avoid making eye contact with anyone, which is my 100% answer.
Me too. Look down at the cake and avoid making eye contact with
Absolutely.
anyone.
I like the
But I
idea of
love the
smiling
idea
and
of
laughing a
just
lot.
I love the idea of staring straight ahead, like stone facing, while everyone just
like,
sings you happy
like
birthday.
you just had a traumatic memory.
Yeah.
Happy
Oh, you're getting your hair
birthday.
cut. How do you
Uh-oh.
act in the hair salon? Chat constantly to your hairdresser. You're practically best friends. Engage in polite small talk, but nothing overly chatty. Look at your phone most of the time and only talk if you're spoken to. Smile in the mirror if you make eye contact, but say nothing.
This is hard. I used to go in to a barber, which was always that obnoxious thing of like, you want a haircut? You don't have much hair at all.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like, I don't know. This seems like a thing people do. And then I feel like the barber doesn't like me. So I'm generally pretty fucking quiet. And smile in the mirror if you make eye contact, but say nothing rings true to me.
I the problem is the look at your phone most of the time is not something I would do because they
You
like
get
you're
the
not supposed to do that because it'll affect the cut.
yeah.
At least that was the impression I was always under. Because if
You
you're
got
looking down,
the
it's gonna affect how they're
you got the gown thing on, the barber
yeah,
dress.
the barber dress. But the only talk if you're spoken to is like absolutely that part rings the truest out of all of this.
Yeah,
But uh I guess I gotta answer the same as you. Smile in the
because I
mirror if
feel
you make
like
eye contact,
say
but say nothing.
nothing doesn't mean like ignore what they're saying. Like
Sure.
if they do ask you a question, I answer it. But if I'm
Yeah,
the one
I've had some
engaging,
very
I'm not.
chatty hairdressers, and I don't like it. Um,
No, but
so
at the
yeah, I'll
same
answer the same as
time,
you.
my girlfriend's hairdresser is a good friend of hers who we've gone camping with several times, and I'm absolutely like, yeah, I'm jealous of that. I don't go get my haircut anymore, but that seems awesome. Just go and hang out with a
Yeah,
friend,
yeah, sure.
catch up, and then your hair gets done in the meantime. Uh, I don't know. We got problems. Question 8: You are watching a movie with your parents, and there's a explicit fuck scene. How do you act? Shift a little in your chair, but don't say anything. Get up to get a drink and don't come back until the scene is over. Look down at your phone or bury your face in a blanket until the scene is over. Completely normal. It's just sex and it's just a movie.
Shift a little in your chair, but don't say anything.
Ah, ah, ah. It's that or completely normal. It's just sex. It's just a movie. I'm trying to think because we'll watch movies a lot. My parents and I have definitely watched some sex scenes together. And I'm trying to think recent. When was the last time we watched a sex scene together? And how did it feel?
Yeah, I definitely have seen some sex scenes with my family as well, and what always happens is like I mean, depending on, there's the GIF that's being used here is from Titanic when they're in the car.
I couldn't place it. It looked like something from a
Um,
horror movie.
it does go, yeah, out of context, it does not look particularly sexy,
Is that
but
are they in a car? Is that
yeah,
scene? Fucking in a car? Car
and
fuck.
so like that's a lot of implied sex, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that the implied kind of like a stylish
We're doing
um
it.
that would be completely normal. It's just sex and it's just a movie. But when it's more like, um,
Banging.
yeah, a dude wrote and directed this one, my guy. When
And
it's stuff
stars in
like
it.
that, um, then like my mom's instinct is to always be like, "Oh my god, can you believe this?" And it's like, "Hey, I definitely don't want to talk to you during this."
Yeah, we just let
Um,
this fly.
so I think to bring it all together, I'm gonna shift a little in my chair, but don't say
I
anything.
think I'm gonna say completely normal. It's just sex. It's just a movie. They're just my parents.
Speaking of incredible
What the
gifts,
fuck?
this is cats and dogs having a party, but they're dressed like humans.
What is this?
Um, I don't know what this is from, but it's
I
incredible.
like it.
Uh, you're talking to someone incredibly dull at a party.
Not these
What
two.
do you do? Desperately search around for another friend to help you out of the situation? Check your phone repeatedly, hoping they'll get the hint? Engage in small talk for a little, then excuse yourself to talk to someone who just walked in. Stand there not saying anything the entire time they're talking to you until they leave you alone.
I hate this question. I love the GIF. Hate the question because it's a question that just makes me feel bad. Because I'm realizing, like, yes, 100%, I am gonna be shitty about someone being dull. But when you're just like talking to someone that's just like, we're not, we're not gonna be friends, are we?
Yeah.
You and I are not on the same wavelength. Like, even parties aside, like just going back to our roots, like an improv class. When you end up talking to
Oh,
someone
yeah.
and you're just like, oh, we are not clicking, bro.
Yeah.
Um, oh God, and none of these answers feel good. There's a glaring red light that makes me feel the worst, but that feels the most honest. And that is to check my phone repeatedly, hoping they'll get the hint. I don't feel good about it though.
Yeah, I'm between that one and desperately searching
Yeah,
around for another friend to help me out of the situation.
that would be nice, but I'm
But I think
I think I suck.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go desperately search for another friend. But I like knowing that the phone is also like a part of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Like you're
doing both,
you're
but
gonna
I think
turn
my
the
main
flashlight on your phone.
yeah.
Where'd she go?
My main plan A is to desperately search for another friend
Yeah,
with plan B right behind checking my phone repeatedly.
yeah. You're desperately seeking Susan, your friend.
That's so true. My dog's name was Susan when we
Oh,
got her from the shelter, and then we changed it because we were like, who names their dog Susan?
it's I don't hate it. Is this me?
It
This is
is.
me.
The last question.
Question 10. This is very visual, and I don't know why it's here. But choose an awkward-looking animal, which they show you a picture of a sloth, but then that's not one of the options. Proboscis monkey, one of those monkeys with big old dick noses. An anteater, one of those things with big dick noses. A wombat, just a cute little fuzzy little feller. Or a tapir, one of those weird little elephant looking freaks.
With the
Uh,
long dick nose.
with a long dick nose. I gotta go with that tapir.
I'm going wombat. Is I like certainly the least awkward looking, but
Yeah,
I like it the best.
Wombat
So
looks
it's like I
confident.
guess I gotta pick it. All right, Evan, let's find out how socially awkward
Let's
we
do
are. Maybe
it.
we got the same thing. Maybe
Maybe.
we didn't.
Oh.
I got slightly awkward. So you're a little bit awkward, and that's okay. Your awkwardness is probably just shyness mixed with a bit of humbleness. Both completely fine qualities to have. Um, you're not always a wallflower, and you feel comfortable in small groups, but big groups just make you a bit wary. You make a good friend and are always willing to lend and ear and listen.
Damn.
Don't let your awkwardness get the best of you. Let your awkward flag fly.
Great.
Evan, what did you get?
Uh, something different. And I'm intrigued
Really?
by this. And I feel like maybe this is another one of those questions that literally just took which animal we chose. I got awkward. So you're
Okay.
awkward, as if you didn't know. This isn't a bad thing. You're shy and get uncomfortable around people, and you like to be in the background rather than front and center. You're not always the most awkward around, though. Chances are you're comfortable and not awkward with those you're close to, just with those you don't really know. And it is accompanied with a picture of Coach from New Girl saying awkward alert.
Interesting. Well, we'll leave it up to the listener. Listener, do you feel that Evan's more awkward than I am, let us know.
I feel we're two very different brands of awkward. But I would be curious.
Elaborate.
I don't know how. I mean, I think that's like this entire fucking episode is all the ways that it's my free floating, free thinking nonsense that leads me to.
I mean,
like,
Mary definitely has called you a himbo, and I
she
feel
did.
like your DMV experience absolutely falls into that label.
Speaking of which, we don't have time to get into this, so I'm gonna get into it real quick.
Yeah.
Varieties, actors on actors.
Yeah.
They just did one with Stephen Yeun, Pedro Pascal.
And Pedro, yes.
Do we think, speaking of Mary, these are two front runners for People's Sexiest Man of the Year? Because I do.
Yes,
and I'm rooting for them.
I do. I think that I don't know that they're both front runners as much as I think one is a front runner and one's a contender.
I'm mostly because was it Mary called Paul Rudd? But in that episode,
I called Paul Rudd.
You called Paul Rudd? I thought Mary called one of something.
She called Randall Park, I believe.
Interesting.
We can go. She may have called somebody else, but I remember that that I called Paul Rudd.
Oh, how convenient!
Because I made a post about it on our social media.
Well, I
pulled the clip again.
I said Stephen Yeun, and I know he would be the underdog in that situation. I think Pedro's got the.
I think Pedro is certainly big in the mix.
I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
We'll see.
We're people.
Yeah.
We could have a magazine.
Yeah. Let us know who you think the sexiest man of the year or
End of this
sexiest man alive, whatever the fucking title is.
No, but I didn't finish that sentence. I am curious to know people who listen to this podcast, and you're out there that don't know us in person. Who comes off as more awkward on the podcast?
I thought you were going to say who comes off as sexier.
Who comes off as sexier?
It's like, please don't do that.
Let's not go there. No, I'm curious. Because I feel like on a certain level, we talk about being awkward, but because we know each other really well and we're comfortable around each other, we don't come off as very awkward on the podcast. I'm curious if one of us does more than the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I wonder if, speaking of, since that your result had that gif of Coach from New Girl, I wonder if it's like if we're like a Nick and Winston, where it's like both awkward in their own ways, both essentially normal in their own ways. But I wonder if that's that same kind of dynamic that you and I have.
That is another one of those things that I've had multiple women tell me of the New Girl cast, or just of fictional characters in television, that Winston from New Girl is more like me than any other character. And I'm like, but Winston's insane. He's a ridiculous character. He's complete nonsense.
Yeah, it was an intervention that they're trying to get to you.
They were saying it in a positive way. I'm like, man, this is like that girl that was like, no, I like that you look like Paul Giamatti. Like, I don't know. So I'm somewhere in between a Paul Giamatti, a Kiefer Sutherland, and I can't think, what's his real name? Winston from New Girl. I love that guy.
Lamorne Morris. But also, like, I mentioned it to you, and again, we're trying so hard to wrap this up.
We gotta wrap this up.
But you absolutely look like your celebrity doppelganger, and celebrity is a reach here, because I told you this when their show was on Netflix a couple years ago. But Broden from the Australian comedy troupe,
It's true,
Auntie Donna, is absolutely the person who looks the most like you.
It's true. I see it, but I don't believe it.
I don't know what anybody learned from this podcast, but even if there
Just
were things to learn, we
heard a
gotta
story about
skip
the
it so we can wrap
DMV.
this episode up. Maybe we learned that the DMV
They're trying.
is dynamite,
They're
as
trying.
AC/DC once sang, kind of.
Hell yeah.
But
It's dynamite.
um,
TNT.
the whole point is, hey, you can listen to this podcast anywhere that you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, HowDoWeHuman.com. Anywhere that you get your podcasts, you can listen to these episodes. And there are video episodes now as well, as Evan continues to do a bunch of visual things for the camera. You can check those out by going to youtube.com slash at HowDoWeHuman.
Damn straight.
But the point is, you can comment, you can subscribe, you can
Yes.
follow, you
We
can
love this
like,
stuff.
review, rate, all of these different things in order to help boost us in various algorithms to grow that How Do We Human army, babies. Also, you can check us out on social media.
Yeah.
Speaking of algorithms, you can find us on Instagram at How Do We Human,
We got that handle.
Facebook at How Do We Human,
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
YouTube at How Do We Human,
Handle.
or send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email.
Evan, anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, and it started as a like, this is a silly thing to talk about, and it's slowly turned into like, well, maybe this does need to happen. We were talking before the podcast. I just now got to watch Into the Spider-Verse, and last
Yes.
week off mic, Chris and I were talking about like, this is wacky. There's a lot of fucking multiverse movies out there. What's the deal with that? One universe not enough? You need multiple? And how many
So
in
true.
each one? Most 4, maybe. Why not just call it the Quadiverse? This is stand-up gold.
Is it?
It's stand-up pyrite.
Is this why you don't go to
That's mostly
open
what I
mics
write.
anymore?
Stand-up pyrite looks like gold to me. And I take it to a professional, and they're like, "This is fake. You're a fool."
Hey, by the way,
Yes?
we never got to you going to Jollibee in that
No,
story.
I went to Jollibee after the DMV because I felt like I earned
Cool.
it, and I'd never been there before. Have you ever been?
No, I said that
Fucking
earlier.
awesome! It's so good. Yeah, fried chicken, spaghetti, and a pie.
Yeah, I mean, sounds
Awesome.
good.
Anyways, I'm talking a special episode of How Do We Human? How Do We Human and the Multiverse of Insecurity? We clash with other
Ooh.
combinations of people who might have hosted this podcast instead of us. We run into Patrick and Tori hosting.
That'd be a wild pair.
I don't know. I think this could be fun. I don't
Who's
know.
who in that situation?
It's a
Who
good
do
question.
You feel?
Which
who would
one's
you cast
more
as yourself between Tori and Patrick?
I mean, I think, yeah, if we're putting ourselves as one or the other, I'm probably the Patrick of that scenario.
I mean, I don't have an answer for it, for it, but
which one of them would be more likely to spend an entire episode just talking about a day they had at the DMV?
that's true.
It's just that's what I think. Anyways, I'm just throwing that out there. It's time for a multiverse episode.
Great.
Mary and Will Hines hosting together.
I mean, I'd listen to that podcast.
I'd listen to the fuck out of that. I think most people who listen to this would love that. Apparently, we got to get Mary back on. There's some demand out there. Mary, you're wanted. We'll never tell. We'll never ask you. Chris,
Yeah.
what do you got going on?
Look, this has happened time and time again, and I I don't want to say that the listeners have failed me every
Oh
time,
no.
but there's a new another new opening in the world of entertainment.
Oh, that's right. Big one.
Pat Sajak retiring from Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
I want that job. They say Ryan Seacrest is in the mix.
No.
Get the fuck
Get the
out of here.
Ryan's
You
roses.
got too many jobs already, Ryan.
More like
Give some to me.
Ryan's nose. No, Ryan.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.